Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Rookie on Margin. My name is Susan, and I am documenting my journey of being fully invested in growth ETFs and living out of my brokerage account. I'm learning as I go, and I definitely don't have all the answers. So I initiated my very first balance transfer, I would say about 3 weeks to a month ago, and I borrowed $24,500 using a 0% APR balance transfer. Again, I'm not here pretending to know everything. I'm just showing you exactly what I'm doing. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about why I use the balance transfer, how I got the $24,500 from my Discover card, what my investing plan is, why I'm not investing it all today or all in one day, and how I plan to pay it back. Before we get into the video, I want to put a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, expert in any way, shape, or form. I'm literally documenting my journey. I don't know everything, you guys. I really don't. So let's get into the video. I never really thought to use balance transfers until I started this investing strategy. If you guys haven't already, please check out Mike's channel, Recycle Your Money. He goes into great details and great lengths of explaining this investing strategy. Also, he does have a balance transfer video I'll put in the description so that you guys can also check that out. Initially, I wasn't even going to do a balance transfer. I'm going to be very honest, because I feel like the most ideal time is to wait until the market drops and then have that extra money to put into your investing account to help you buy more shares at a lower price. The terms for this balance transfer was 0% APR for 12 months. And I had a balance transfer fee of 4%. Now, I do want to emphasize this is not a brand new card. I've had this Discover credit card since 2021. I did not apply for this card. My credit limit for this card, I would say, is about $25,500. And I transferred about $24,500 just due to that balance transfer fee. I do want to emphasize that I am a person with high risk tolerance. I am willing to lose all my money in my taxable brokerage account, my all-in account at Robinhood. So if you want to use something like this, or if you're more risk adverse, maybe start with a lower amount. But I did my whole credit limit because why not? So the thing about Discover that I really like is that when I accepted this balance transfer, they gave me the option to deposit the money directly into my checking account. I didn't have to write myself a balance transfer check, and I didn't have to pay this onto another card in order to get a check sent in the mail later. So that was really nice. And everything happened through ACH, which is really, really nice for me. So when I requested Discover to send the balance transfer money to my checking account, they could only send it to my bank account that I had been using to pay my credit card for at least 1 year. And since I'm new to Robinhood, they wouldn't allow me to add Robinhood as my bank of choice to deposit the money. So that means I had to do a whole roundabout, I would say. So I requested the transfer to go to I have a Wells Fargo checking account. So I requested that money to go to my Wells Fargo checking account. And I would say it took about 9 days or 5 business days. I think I requested on a Friday, but I would say about 5 business days, but 9 days in total. And once it reached my Wells Fargo account, it took about 2 days for the funds to get settled. Once the funds were settled, I did a wire transfer from my Wells Fargo account to my Robinhood checking account. And that took about a day. So in my Robinhood account, I actually have 2 individual brokerage accounts. The first one I actually made beginning of this year. That's when I first learned about Robinhood. My coworker actually told me about the gold membership and the Roth IRA match. And I think he sent me a referral link where we both got like some few dollars of like shares. So that was when I first made Robinhood. But this second account that I made is strictly for when I started this investing strategy. So to keep everything separate and not mix the balance transfer money with my personal money that I'm using with margin, I put this balance transfer funds in my first individual brokerage account at Robinhood that I never used. So right now the money is sitting as cash in my first individual brokerage account. Robinhood Gold currently pays 3.75% interest on uninvested cash. So that's kind of nice. The last time I lump summed was when I first started this strategy. The initial money I invested, or the initial money I started with, was around $16,000, $15,000 to $16,000. And I lump summed all that money. So I immediately invested it. And then 2 days later, it was like on a Friday, the market dropped and I lost some of my money. So because of that, I just want a dollar cost average. And I think that's going to be working for me going forward. So my current investing process now is to move my funds from my first individual brokerage account, transfer them back to my Robinhood banking account. And then from my Robinhood banking account, I move them to my all-in account. And I'm going to be dollar cost averaging every week. So right now I'm starting with $1,300 a week, and this is just a random number that I chose. I will increase this number if the market dips more than usual, but just for my base weekly investing amount for my balance transfer, it's $1,300 a week. So my allocation is still the same, 40% in VGT, 30% in SPMO, 20% in QQQM, and 10% in VT. But again, if the market drops, I'll invest more because I don't want to run out of dry powder. So if you're a beginner like me, there's some terms that I'm learning as I'm doing this investing strategy. Dry powder is just cash waiting to be invested. You don't want to run out of that, especially if the market dips. So yeah, guys, I really want to emphasize, I am completely new. And I think I mentioned this in my first video, like the best way I learn is through application. You know, I can read all these books, I can watch all the YouTube videos, but for me, by applying what I'm trying to do is how things stick more and stick better. So what I'm doing with this balance transfer isn't like a one size fits all. If you have more income, if you have a bigger balance transfer, you can probably use more, or if you're more conservative, you can use less, or you can start much smaller. Everybody's situation is different. This is what I'm doing. Again, if you don't want to make any mistakes, just watch me and you'll learn what not to do. So now comes the information which I think everybody wants to know. How am I going to pay all this money back? So I do have a few options that I am keeping in mind. And depending on the outcome or depending on how the year goes, this can always change in the future. So the first option that I have in my plan is to grow my taxable brokerage account, because when that happens, I increase my margin buying power. And the more money I build up in my account, the more I'm going to be able to borrow using margin. So a larger account gives me like a bigger cushion. That cushion can also help reduce the chance of me getting margin called if the market drops. Let's just say I do my monthly payments for this balance transfer, and after 12 months, I still have $10,000 left. Let's just say that, right? So for me to take $10,000 out of my margin right now is insane. There's going to be no buffer. Like I'll be very vulnerable to a margin call. I have about 24,000. That's like almost half of my money right now. So that's dangerous. But let's say I build my account to, let's say, $80,000. $10,000 in margin on an $80,000 account gives me a bigger buffer to not get margin called. So that's kind of option one. The second option I have is just to transfer the remaining balance to another 0% credit card. This is the option that I hear a lot of people use and works really well for them. So I may use that option. Option three is to just do a combination of both. So let's just say I still have $15,000 at the end of the 12 months to pay back. And maybe my taxable brokerage account can't handle a $15,000 margin usage. Or let's just say I have a credit card, I apply for another 0% APR credit card, 21 months or so, but the limit they give me is let's just say like 5,000 or 10,000. That's not going to pay everything off. So yeah, option three is to just use a combination of both. Whatever is left on the old credit card, I will transfer it to the new credit card, and I'll transfer the max that I can. And then the remainder that is left over for me to still pay back, I will use it in margin. This is why I really want to build up my taxable brokerage account so that I have access to a larger amount of margin in a situation just like this. But to be honest, again, I don't know what I'm going to use. This is just the options that came to my mind, and I feel as though they're solid options that I can use personally for my situation. Again, I'm figuring it out as I go. I'll keep you guys updated, just follow along. I'll keep you guys updated for what happens in the future if you're interested. So yeah, for a balance transfer like this on Discover, I would say my monthly payment is around $550 a month. And I can work with that because I know the money that's coming in and I know my cash flow. Again, check out Mike's channel from Recycle Your Money. He explains how important it is to have a spread or to have cash flow at the end of every month when using this strategy. That's very, very important. All right. So my minimum payment for taking out a balance transfer for $24,500 at Discover is $550 a month, around there. And my monthly cash flow is at the minimum $2,000, right? So I know after I make this payment, I'm going to have around $1,500, let's just say $1,500 just to make it easy. I'm going to have $1,500 left to still invest and still buy stocks. So yeah, that's my plan for now. Again, things can change depending on the market, depending on things happening in my life. Nothing is fixed. Things can change, stuff can happen, but that's my plan for right now. So yeah, if you're curious to see how this plays out, please subscribe, please like, and also just comment your thoughts. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm learning as I go, but I'm very optimistic that I will find a formula that works for my personal goals and that works for me. So yeah, I wish you guys the best on your investing journey. I wish you guys the best on achieving financial success, financial freedom. Just want to spread positivity here. We all can become financially free. And I honestly believe that. So if you made it to the end of this video, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. I'm new to this YouTube stuff, still trying to figure out how to edit, make it look more, pretty, I guess. I'm not perfect. I'm not pretending to be perfect. I'm just here documenting my journey and I wish you guys the best. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.